You will not be able to stay home, brother.
This one is called Occupy, 17-syllable thoughts. And it's in memory of the diggers of 1649 in England. Occupy movement. 10-point Black Panther Party gone kick-ass update. Occupy movement. Intercommunalism, new understanding. Huey and Ma watch world masses in struggle for iron rice bowl. Police are vicious. Their rich paymasters running scared from their creations. Tents are folded up. Bitter winter will give way to people's springtime. Like an hourglass, the world is turned upside down and then right side up. Would do haiku for food. What would Karl Marx do? Hotly pursue Feuerbach, Cliff Notes to Hegel. What would Lenin do? March our mind, will, and honor into our party. What would Stalin do? This depends upon your needs for saint or demon. What would Mao do? That 70% question reformulated. What would Trotsky do? This depends upon your need to blame or to praise. What would Rosa do? Of which one are you thinking, Parks or Luxembourg? And what shall we do to keep our minds occupied, our hands on the plow? Hospital bed renku. This was written before certain things happened to me last June. I spent a couple of months in the hospital, June and July. But this happened a couple of years before then, in connection with some other problems. Hospital bed renku. A peaceful night's rest. Dr. House, not at bedside. Life is very good. Heart rhythm playing, Miles Davis in 4/4 time. Beethoven says, slow. Neither thick nor thin, Coumadin is 2.6. Keep it thus and thrive. How many folks here ever use the writing handbook, Elements of Style? I had it introduced to me at age 17 or 18. It's been my Bible for writing ever since. Anyway, this is called Elements of Style. Apologies to Mrs. Strunk and White. First it was grammar. All those terms, all those schematic blackboard charts telling what kind of words went where when speaking or reading. This was supplemented by penmanship, using India ink and dip into inkwell pens, assuring that my mother would scream as she tossed yet another shirt to scrub out stains alongside my father's automotive industry leukemia-laden work clothes. Later it was composition, also jammed down my throat. Hated it with every bone in my body, excepting some moment of fun writing flyers and press releases for the movement, and discovered I could really do this stuff if I wanted to. Then, writing in prison, letters to the outside, rapping with fellow inmates, which meant writing and talking way too much. It served me well later in and out of college, except that on campus I rediscovered my hatred of writing things not of my own. Was I the only one who realized that 15 pages or more typed double-spaced footnotes properly placed was so torturous, where only 5 pages triple space could say it all? But we were trained to be real or wanna-be rulers. And I suppose that it's par for the course to have so evil a skill to be mastered, the better to mesmerize and baffle people out of at least 2 sides of your mouth. When I discovered that I could write poetry and proceeded to do so, I finally cut through all this bullshit. And strangely, years later, my writing improved. It was as though I had become an outlaw fugitive from convention. And upon return, was convention's master by virtue of knowing what laws to obey, having skillfully broken all of them. This goes with it. Some of us in this room have been in various meetings with various executive directors, various leaders of some kind or other, whose main problem is that they seem to be in love with like they have this in common with poets, that they're in love with the sound of their own voices. This is a poem for some of these folks. It's called After Reading Orwell's Politics in the English Language. In all my years of reading, talking, never ever comprehended about, if it goes without saying, why it's being said. If needless to say, whose need is being met by saying, and the nature of that need. Why I am told that someone else or myself failed to see what's trying to be gotten across, verbally or on paper, when it's not about failure, but about careful and thoughtful consideration and just plain disagreement. Can someone explain the use of such phrases other than the user trying to come off looking cute at another's expense? For some reason, I feel insulted reading or hearing it said, and that should go without saying. Should be needless to say. You walk around the corridors of Redwood Gardens, and there are these lounge areas and various coffee tables and stuff, and people leave books behind they don't want. This is about one of those books. It's called On Finding an Abandoned Copy of Obama's Dreams from My Father. Beethoven's paean to Bonaparte became an elegy disguised as majestic symphony when the general anointed himself emperor. I am a poet, know not a word of music, but this poem is Eroica reloaded. All of the sacred words of the great hope have become naught. The world which held its breath bated has reclaimed the sense to exhale. And this poem is elegy, not for him who forgot the difference between puddles on Chicago's streets and the swamp running off Chesapeake aside the Potomac. This is an elegy for the dreams of all our parents and all who came before, and who are one more time have been betrayed by a system about whom our great hope had zipped to say, having found himself the latest, if privileged, passenger on the good ship Jesus. This is an elegy for our African sisters and brothers and all who went before them. Mau Mau lost the battle, and now AFRICOM and Al-Qaeda, cousins, must be reckoned with. This is Eroica reloaded, elegy awaiting symphonic music in 4/4 time. triumphal peoples te Deum. This is about kids who drive us crazy, especially when they get political. It's called Got Juice / Gravitas. Juice is exactly the same thing as gravitas, only it's used by the kids today. You know, power, respect, authority, type of thing. Where are the young people, we ask, in this gray-haired assembly? I remember 40 or more years back when the elders of that time asked those same questions, and even books were querying to no end. The next year, we showed up and turned things, indeed turned an entire world upside down. Don't worry about the kids. Just be ready to tell them the story and not sound suspiciously like we're lecturing, giving advice, pontificating. Just tell the story. Be the poet, the storyteller, the good listener. Save your hair pulling for the privacy of your bathroom.
You will not be able to stay home, brother.